Derivatives of logarithms and e. The next set of functions that we're going to examine are exponential and logarithmic functions. Each of them have their own set of rules for differentiation. First, let's consider the exponential function a to the x. While it appears that the power rule could be an option for us to use for differentiation, unfortunately, it's not going to apply with this function because the exponent is not a fixed number and the base is not a variable. It's actually the opposite. The number is the base and the variable is the exponent. So let's see what we need to do when we encounter these functions further. By considering a particular value of a, or our base, and making it e, we are able to see the proof for the derivative of exponential functions. So if the function is e to the x and we use the limit definition for a derivative, we would get the limit as h approaches 0 of e to the x plus h minus e to the x over h. This can be simplified to be e to the x times e to the h minus e to the x all over h using the rules of exponents here. And then we can clearly see that we have an e to the x that we can factor out of both terms, and that's how we get this. The limit as h approaches 0 of e to the x times e to the h minus 1 over h. And we are able to cancel out the limit as h approaches 0 of e to the h minus 1 over h because that value is equal to 1. So then we're left with e to the x times 1, which is just e to the x. At this point, we lack knowledge for the proof of a to the x, so I'm finding its derivative. However, we can prove this derivative when we get to what's known as the chain rule. So for right now, we have to accept that if f of x is equal to a to the x, then its derivative is going to be a to the x times the natural log of a. The next derivative for exponential functions is the one that we actually proved, which is that f of x equals e to the x. Then the derivative of our function, or f prime of x, will also equal e to the x, which is pretty cool. E to the x is the only non-trivial function whose derivative is the same as the original function. Here are the derivatives for logarithmic functions. So if a function is a logarithm with a base of a of x, then f prime of x will be 1 over x times the natural log of a. And if f of x is equal to the natural log of x, then f prime of x will equal 1 over x.